Hello, everyone. I forgot. We have a guest. I didn't forget that you were here. I forgot that I had to announce you. We are, first I want to welcome everybody to Neighbors. We're really bad at starting. The last service, we just kind of started a little late, just kind of staring into space and not realizing the time had started or anything like that. But we are just honored to have you guys here. And we are glad to have you here on the 4th of July, for crying out loud. Most people sleep in on the 4th or, light things on fire or do something like that. So we are pleased to have you guys here. We are just about ready to get started. But before we get started, our normal song leader is on vacation. He's in Washington. And we have Orion with us. Orion started Neighbors with us. I mean, way back when. You were playing with us when we were meeting, just getting started. And we are still just getting started. So it's nice to have you back. And you're about ready to hit the road. I know you're about ready to go on a worldwide tour and all that kind of stuff. You have a new album out, which was in the paper. I don't know why I'm telling you things you know, but we're just glad to have you here. But before Ryan begins to share some music with us, would you just join me in a quick prayer? Gracious and loving God, we are just so grateful that you open these doors, that you come into our lives, that you remind us that your message is a message of love. It's a message of acceptance. It's a message of kindness. It's a message of grace. It's a message of neighbors. May we be fulfilled here. May we be challenged here. May we be encouraged here to take that love, that message of love, to feel it in our hearts and to share it with the rest of the world. Wherever we go, may we create neighborhoods of love, kindness, peace, and grace. In Jesus' name, Lord, we pray. Amen.
I made it out of my hometown, saw the world for a while. Sleeping on your couch, there's so much to talk about. How many years has it been now? So many places to see, so many different ways to be. I know I can't go back to the way it used to be. I got right now, I got right now, I got right now, and that's enough for me. I made it out of my hometown, I saw the world for a while. Riding round on trains, flying high up on planes, meeting new people every day. From Paris to Rome, up to that Scandinavian snow, I jump borderlines like hopscotch. There's so many places to see, there's so many different ways to be. I know I can't go back to the way it used to be. I got right now, I got right now, I got right now, and that's enough for me. It's enough for me. Yeah, good morning, guys. Good morning. Maybe someone wants to take the banana? I sanitize the banana for faux show. Yeah, good morning, guys. Good to be here at Neighbors again on the 4th of July with you. Well, you know, there's nothing to can really, make the mood happy as a kazoo, actually. We don't have the words to the song, but this is a really old gospel song, so I think you probably know it. So if you know, sing along with me. I wandered so aimless, not filled with sin. I wouldn't let my dear Savior in. And Jesus came like a stranger in the night. Praise the Lord, I saw the light. I saw the light, I saw the light. No more darkness, no more night. Now I'm so happy, no sorrow inside. Praise the Lord, I saw the light. Well, just like a blind man who wandered along, worries and fears I claim for my own. Then like a blind man that God gave back his sight. Praise the Lord, I saw the light. I saw the light, I saw the light. No more darkness, no more night. Now I'm so happy, no sorrow inside. Praise the Lord, I saw the light. Well, I saw the light, I saw the light. No more darkness, no more night. Now I'm so happy, no sorrow inside. Praise the Lord, I saw the light. I saw the light, I saw the light. No more darkness, no more night. Now I'm so happy, no sorrow inside. Praise the Lord, I saw the light. Praise the Lord, I saw the light. Praise the Lord, 'cause I saw the light. Well, good to be with you guys here at Neighbors again. We're going to do one more old gospel song that you probably know. If you don't know it, it's all good. This goes way back before you were born. Here we go. Well, I looked over Jordan, and what did I see? Coming for to carry me home. I saw a band of angels coming after me, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, oh sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Oh, if you get there before I do, coming for to carry me home. Tell all my friends I'm coming too, coming for to carry me home. All right, here we go. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, oh sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Sometimes up, I'm sometimes down, coming for to carry me home. But I know our souls are heavenly bound, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot,
Nice. Thanks, Orion. So glad to have you here. Some of the songs, you know, it's funny about this church is that you will hear, we've had songs that are old spirituals. We have had songs that are from hymnals. We've played songs from Prince. We've played songs from Tom Petty, Lady Gaga. We've done, but it's music, and that's a wonderful thing about music is that there is a message in song, and it may not be deemed a Christian song or whatever you call it like that, but we can find the messages in just about every bit of music that we have. And we believe that here. We believe in sharing that message here. And like music, it's something that is best when it's shared, when it is, you can listen to music and it can touch your heart, but the first thing you want to do when you hear a piece of music or a song or something is you want to be able to share that with people. That's why people like post things and all that kind of stuff. And that's kind of what we're doing here. You know, if you guys, I'm grateful that you guys are here. This is traditionally, you know, this is, if you have church on the 4th of July, if that lands on a Sunday, that's usually guaranteed that that is your lowest Sunday attendance of the year. And so the fact that you guys are here, you guys get extra points. You could sin a little bit more today if you wanted to because it's racked up for you. So. But no, we're really grateful that you are here. The message of Neighbors is, we hope, is just as much like a song. We hope that it is something that when we are here, when we are gathered, that we hear things that touch our hearts. Whether we're here in person, or we're joining online, or we're watching it later, or listening to it on a podcast, however you're joining it, I hope that you feel that you're a part of something, that you're a part of a community, that you're a part of a friendly neighborhood. That's what the whole message is. That's why we called ourselves Neighbors Church. We could have called ourselves, you know, Saint Do-Do-Do, or this is the holy thing of the stuff, and you know, the upper crust of the, you know. But there's something about a church that's just called Neighbors, because when you walk into a neighborhood, a lot of us over the 4th, we've seen some neighbors, you know, having barbecues and sharing and stuff like that. They're also lighting things on fire. We don't really do that here, but we do gather and get together, and we learn to love each other. When we learn that our neighbor is anybody that moves next door. It can be people of different beliefs than us. It can be people of different cultures than us. It's just people. And what a wonderful place to have that celebrates that. Celebrates who we are. We're people. Loving people. If we can get that message through, if we can carry that message through, I hope that filters through like a song. And I hope it's something that we listen to and it touches our heart, and we want to share that with others, and we want to invite people. This isn't the sermon. This is just the announcements. I'm sorry. I'm going to move on to the announcements. If you want to join us in the park next week, we will be there July 11th at 9:30. The park is just over here. It's kind of like our own barbecue. I actually like to just go in there because it gives me an excuse to wear a new hat that I got. It's like the straw fedora thing. I look really cool in it. Bald people look cool in hats. We should be able to wear them all the time. And so 9:30, Fallbrook Park. Bring your own lawn chairs, and it's weather permitting. If it's bad outside, we'll be meeting here at 9:30. But we like to just do that once a month, have church outside. And if you want to get connected with us, just text Neighbors to 402-512-1856. We're not selling your information, or we don't sign you up for all of this kind of weird stuff, and we don't hound you or anything like that. It's just our way of being able to say, like, if we're having service in the park, to pass that on, and just to have a connection with you. And that means that you do not have to live within driving distance of Neighbors Church. We have people that are all in different states. We have people that are in different parts of Nebraska that still consider Neighbors their church. And so if you want to be connected with that, we invite you to do so. Neighbors, 402-512-1856. Also, you can email us any questions you have or anything like that at info@neighborscommunity.org. Generosity. This is something that we're a new church, which means we just planted. They actually refer to it as a parachute drop, which means someone picked Fallbrook and said, plant a church there, and just threw us out there. And we started from scratch, and we're trying to build it up. And the best way to build up a community is by the community supporting each other. And one of the ways we can do that is through your generosity. Neighborscommunity.org is our website. There's a little thing called Give up in the corner or something like that. Or you can mail checks to 575 Fallbrook Boulevard, Lincoln, Nebraska 68521. There's also a giving box over there by the donuts bribery. The other thing, too, is if you're watching us online, joining us there, just like or share it. Just pass that word along. Our message is a message of love, kindness, and acceptance. Please pass that forward. That's something that I believe this world needs today more than anything. We need to take that risk and not be the critical voice, but the celebration voice. The voice that celebrates people for exactly who they are, that loves people, and that shows that God is love. And we can share that by just hitting share or like on our social media. The other thing is, too, just to invite. This is a cool place. It's a small little church here that has a big voice, and we love it to just have people come in and sit at these cool tables and eat the donuts and just enjoy each other's company there. So we would love to have you invite people to do that. We're going to take a quick pause. We believe that in our busy schedules and even in church, there are times to pause and reflect. You can pause and reflect on Orion's wonderful music today. Oh, Orion, did I say that you got a new album out? I'm going to do a little plug. Right over there, Orion has a new CD. He was in the paper the other day with a really good write-up on your new CD, and it comes out digitally July 9th. And it's just, if you like kind of original, kind of cool music, I invite you to do that. But you can talk to Orion, you can get up, you can stretch your feet, you can say hi to your neighbor, have a donut, go to the restroom, whatever you want. We're just going to take a 3-minute pause, and we'll be back in 3 minutes with the message.
You know, sometimes being a disciple is, it's a lot like having coffee breath. Bear with me. Coffee breath, you drink it, you drink coffee, and everybody knows throughout the day that you had coffee. It doesn't even matter. You know, there's a guy that, I mean, oh, wow. To share an elevator with him, you can tell that, I mean, and I don't know where he gets it, probably a gas station that's been burning for, you know, since 1982. But the fact is that no matter what he says and no matter what he does, you know that he had coffee, and that breath, everybody sees it. And so as disciples, we're kind of the same way, but only instead of coffee breath, we should have Jesus breath. And that whatever we say and whatever we do, we should remember that we are disciples of Christ, and no matter what we're talking about, is Jesus coming out of our breath. See? You thought it was going to be a stretch with the coffee breath. Not that Jesus smells, because I don't want to get that's not what I'm saying at all. That would be this would be a coffee breath, ooh, devil, you know. And Jesus would be like, have you been chewing gum? And can I get a piece? Because that's really neat breath that you have. It's like winter green things, although I never understood why winter was green, because most of the things that are green are gone. And white winter, you have breath that's not coffee but good. Sort of, I mean, you know what I mean. This is really bad. You know, being a disciple of Christ is kind of like having coffee breath. Bear with me, in a good way. With coffee breath, you know, everybody knows you drank. Sorry. Sometimes it's just stupid.
You ever just say hello to people? Saying hello is one of the most simplistic things that we can do to love our neighbor. Just by coming across somebody that's, whether you know them or you don't know them, and just saying that simple phrase, hello, how you doing? How's it going? Things like that. It's just an easy way to not only say a greeting to somebody, but it's an easy way to actually expand beyond ourselves and to think of other people in this world, people that we share this world with, whether they're someone we know, a family member or a friend, or whether or not they're just a stranger walking by. Just saying hello. Sometimes it's a nice greeting, and sometimes it's the little things like that that can make our neighborhood a better place. Remember, love God, love your neighbor, love yourself.
Well, again, happy 4th of July. Happy Independence Day to everybody. I hope that you guys are... Is anyone doing anything fun for the 4th? Are you blowing anything up or eating stuff? Or for me, it's about food. It's about eating. For some reason, for every 4th of July, we have a tradition and we have Mexican food. I don't know why that is, but that's the food we like, and so, but that's what we do. So, are you doing anything fun, or? Cookout and family. Yeah, you doing cookout too, I imagine? So, yeah. It's, you know, the 4th of July is something where it is a fantastic celebration. It is something where we celebrate freedom. Really, the definition of our 4th of July, our Independence Day, the definition of independence is truly freedom. It's a time when people came together and said, people deserve to be free. People deserve rights. They deserve to be able to have liberties and things that, you know, that make them who they are, and to celebrate who they are. It was founded by, I'm going to grab a chair here, if you don't mind. It was founded by, if I remember my history right, it was founded by a bunch of people that wore wigs and said, we don't like the place that we've been, because the place that we've been is not allowing us to have the freedoms that we want to have. It's not allowing us to have the rights that we want to have. And we don't like the fact that, you know, there's a lot of things like money and taxation and things like that, but it was really about just giving people their rights. And it was a start. It wasn't perfect, but it was a start. Today, when we look at freedom, what is it that comes to your mind when we think about freedom, the thing that we're celebrating today, freedom? Is it independence? Is it something that's, you know, lately, it seems like in our world, in our political climate, in the way things have been going in the last, you know, present tense, freedom oftentimes is defined by the group that you're around. Oftentimes we talk about my freedom. This is my freedom. You're taking away my freedom. They're taking away my freedom. And oftentimes when we talk about freedom, it seems to be almost in a chest-pounding way of saying me and not they. And this country was built on people that were saying we and they. But sometimes we look at freedom in different ways today. If you're on this side, you look at freedom this way, and you look at that side and say that side is taking away my freedom. And if you're on this side, you do the same, and you talk about that group. But it seems like whenever we talk about freedom anymore, it's about you can't mention it without the thought of a threat of somebody coming and taking away your rights. This is my freedom. You tell me to do this and you may put these restrictions. This is my freedom. They want to come in here and do this, but this is my freedom and they're infringing upon my freedom. How'd you get that freedom? Born here? I was lucky to be born here, I guess. You know, we have it seems like my DNA changes every time I take one of those little DNA tests. One time I was just Jewish. Then someone decided to add English and Irish in there. So now I still worry, but in a more posh way. It turns out that however we trace our history, for a lot of us, it really takes us elsewhere. Someone, somewhere, was born elsewhere, and then somehow came here, and then people got together, and then someone like me was born here. And that's how I'm free. It doesn't sound like I worked very hard for it. It doesn't sound like, I mean, there are people that we celebrate today that have given their lives for this, that have really made the sacrifice for our freedom, that have done things that they have not wanted to do because they wanted others to enjoy their lives. Others to enjoy their lives. Other people. When we think about freedom, do we think about other people? Or do we think about ourselves? You know, even during we went through, gosh, we've gone through so much in just the last couple of years. We've gone through a pandemic. We've gone through such division. And each division, each side is claiming that the reason that they're fighting is for their freedom. Well, how do we define freedom? You know, they say that this country, a lot of people argue that this country, the very nature of this country, that the whole freedom idea, the whole basis of that idea was based on the Bible. We have people that, you know, want the Ten Commandments. They want it in the government facilities because that has history in the very nature of the formation of our country. How much, when we define freedom today, do we actually look at, if that's true, how much do we look at the Bible as we define what freedom means to us? I don't know. I mean, sometimes you just kind of look on television, you go with whatever side you're on and all that kind of stuff, and freedom means this, and sometimes it means comfort. I mean, some of us, we argue for freedom because we really do want people to have rights. But a lot of times when we get down to it, it's just because we don't want to be uncomfortable. Does freedom always mean that we hate someone else? Because it seems like today that's how we define it so many times. You're a threat to me, my freedom. You cross over and you come into this country, this is my freedom. And we hold it because it's ours. How'd you earn it? Well, I was born here. My freedom was earned really easy. You know? Did I fight for my freedom? No, not really. You know, did I defend a cause? Well, I don't know. One night my parents had a romantic evening and boom, here I am, free! Thanks, Mom and Dad. Glad to have that wine. But here I am. How do I define freedom? How do I define who I am? And if I am a Christian, because, okay, if we're Christian, God is supposed to be before everything, right? That means before country, right? That means before everything. That means sacrifice. That means God comes first. That means the thing that we think that the country was actually based on is the priority here. And that means that that message, the original message, isn't just about here, but it's about everywhere. You know, Jesus never once said, you know, this one's just to the Americans. Or this communion is just for the USA. Let's all watch a John Wayne movie. God was always about everybody. And if that's true, if that's true, if it's really true, then how do we define freedom? If we look back at Scripture, if we look back at the Bible, there was even a time when the first church, when the Christians were just first trying to figure it out. And remember that most churches that were starting came from a Jewish tradition. And that Jewish tradition meant that there were certain laws that were from the Torah that you had to do. One of them for the men was circumcision. You had to do that to become a Jewish person. But there was something new happening because people from the other side of the tracks, known as, they called them pagans. Today we refer to them as Gentiles, or more plainly, we call them, many of us, non-Jewish people that came in and found Christ in their lives, and Christ was introduced to them, and there was an argument over whether those folks should be allowed into this faith that was founded by somebody that wanted love for everyone. And the argument that they had was whether or not you could follow the rules in order to enjoy that freedom from Christ. If you wanted the love of Christ, you had to follow the rules of the people, the ancient laws before you. If you were a man, you had to be circumcised. If you were a person that liked bacon, you had to give that up. I think more people argued over the bacon, really. But there was an argument over whether or not people could earn that freedom. And there was a fight. And this was the first time that the church really went head to head over who was invited into this church, this new church of Jesus Christ. People were still trying to figure this out. And even when the first church started, our holy heroes still bickered and moaned, and they had fears and they had concerns over who to let in and who to keep out. Why do we do that? Whenever we talk about freedom, it is always but defined by who gets it and who doesn't. They were missing the vital point of Christ. Christ never went like this. Christ always went like this. And it's taken us over 2,000 years to still try to figure out that message. What is freedom? We could look at one of the apostles, Paul, who wrote to the Galatians, talking about freedom. During this time when they were fighting over all of this kind of stuff, he was talking to those Gentiles, those pagans, the people that were on the outside that wanted part of this joy and love. And he said to them, "For you were called to freedom, brothers and sisters. Only do not use your freedom as an opportunity for self-indulgence, but through love become slaves to one another." Slaves, that's a harsh term. Slaves meant just as much as it means today back then. It means giving up that freedom. When you're given a gift like freedom, you are given a responsibility, according to Paul. That if you're given that love, then you better not just hang on to that love. That love goes somewhere else. You are not the end game. You are a conduit carrying that message forward. And that is what we are as Christians supposed to do with it. Self-indulgence is what we see a lot of today. People defending their freedom and all of this kind of stuff, when it really boils down to, I just don't want to be uncomfortable. Or I don't want that person living next to me. Or I fear that. If freedom is truly of Christ, then freedom truly is global. Then freedom truly has no boundaries. But freedom does have a responsibility. And that means it's not for self-indulgence. It's for sharing. Like a great song you hear on the radio. For sharing. It means something to you. It's a gift. You give it. He goes on, if you want more of a definition of what that is, for the whole law is summed up in a single commandment. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. That means that I can't look at you and say you're a threat to me, or you're stealing my jobs, or I don't like the way that you look, or that hat's weird, or... It means Christ loves me, and Christ loves you. It means you deserve everything that I have. It means my job in life is to give you love. We look at the very nature of that as a threat. That's a reason to celebrate. We have the gift of sharing love. And instead we just want to tell people off, and we want to divide lines, and we want to do all this kind of stuff. But we have this gift of joy that we get to share. And if we don't, Paul gives this warning. If, however, you bite and devour one another, take care that you are not consumed by one another. We can be our own undoing. And in many times, in many places, in this very country that we're celebrating today, we've seen us take several steps back when we should be moving forward. In this very country, when we celebrate freedom, we have seen throughout our history people that have been denied that freedom. In this very country, we have seen people persecuted, we have seen people harmed, we have seen people hurt, we have seen people disrespected in a place that hails freedom. And in this church, we've done the same thing. The Christian church for 2,000 years has blood on its hands because of the way that we have defined freedom. My prayer for us all is that when we look at the things that we have, the gifts that we have, the things that make us happy, the joys, my prayer for all of us is that we don't let it stop there. We don't take something, and hold it, but we share it. We know that we are not keepers of joy. We are renters. We are conduits. We are a roadway where that freedom is something to be granted to everyone for everything. That people, wherever they come from, whatever they look like, whatever lifestyle they have, whatever beliefs, remember Christ opened his doors to everybody. Christ had conversations with people that thought he was full of it. Sometimes his own disciples did. They were idiots. Freedom. What does it mean to you? How do you share it? What are we to do with it? Ryan's going to favor us with a song, but he's going to take about 20 seconds for us to just ponder that question. What does freedom mean? Just want to think about that for just 20 seconds, and then he's going to grace us with a song.
Best days of your existence lie ahead. Don't believe the lies you hear in your head. Lies come from the liar. Truth comes from a higher place. When I is replaced with we, there are endless possibilities. We're all equals. We are we. 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 There is a light in every person's eye. It doesn't matter in what country you reside. In the end, we're all God's children. We are we. 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 In the end, we're all His children.
Nice job. That's one of my favorite songs of yours, Orion. However we're celebrating today, I hope that your day is one that is filled with joy and the one that is filled with celebration. And I hope that it is times of reflection of what the things that mean the most to you. And then I hope that we take that one step further and we share that. We are vessels of love. And that means that everything that gives us joy, we share. Sadly, there are people in our world right now that do not know truly what love feels like. They don't feel respected. They don't feel kindness. There are people that need to feel loved. We're those people, and so are they. May we love God. May we love ourselves. And may we love our neighbors, which is everyone. Let's close with Amazing Grace.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear the hour I first believed. Danger How sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now I see.
Nice job.